Another week in the books, another week on the horizon. AFC Eastie boys about to get your points flying. That's right, Cat in the Hat's back. And you can see I'm in the Christmas hat. Let's break down all of these fantasy stats. So go ahead and sit back, get your fantasy tune-up weekly. I got all the picks for you. Hello. How you doing? And if you're new to the crib, don't forget, smash that like and subscribe on your way in. And go ahead and hit that link. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat. Or you can go ahead and hop up on the mic and we can talk about that. So, welcome in. Wonderful week 13. Merry early Christmas to everybody. I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. The Thanksgiving slate, I gotta say, was so good. It was so good. The Bears, they impressed. They really did. Being on prime time. Okay, I'll quiet down, bud. I'm sorry. I just put the kiddos asleep. That's why I'm a little late, ladies and gentlemen. Man, that was a good intro. Hit that like and hit that subscribe if you agreed if that was a good intro or not. Go ahead. We also got the Game of the Week poll going on. So if you guys can leave a vote there, so that way I can put a poll on our channel and we can vote on the Game of the Week, ladies and gentlemen. But we got week 14 on the horizon. We got a couple bye teams out there. Patriots are on bye. 49ers are on bye. Panthers are on bye. There's another team on bye as well. I don't remember, but either way, once we come across it, then we'll figure it out. But we got a lot of good games too. A lot of prime matchups. And it starts on Thursday night with the Cowboys and the Lions. Now, the Lions are pretty banged up, right? So we definitely need to look at their injury report. Because if they're going to be down Amon-Ra St. Brown, that's going to hurt them big time, especially against this Dallas Cowboys offense that has done nothing but light it up. Yes, they're forced to, right? Because the defense is very vulnerable and they allow other teams to put points on the board as well. So their hand is forced. But the George Pickens move was a brilliant move in the offseason. I do got to give Jerry Jones his props for that. Because could you imagine if George Pickens was still on the Steelers with DK Metcalf over there? It'd be a whole different story. That division would be a whole different story. Steelers wouldn't be worrying about the Baltimore Ravens taking their spot at the top. And speaking of Steelers Ravens, they play this week. It's one of our options for the Game of the Week. Do you think that that's going to be the Game of the Week this week? It possibly could be. But it could also be a very low-scoring game, and we'll get to that. Don't worry, we'll get to that. So let's look at the Lions. We're starting Thursday night, right? So we need to see how Amon-Ra St. Brown is. Lions head coach Dan Campbell said that St. Brown, his ankle, won't practice on Tuesday, so he didn't practice today, but the wideout could still be available for Thursday's game against the Cowboys. Khalif Raymond, doubtful. Penei Sewell, questionable. Brock Wright, questionable. Right neck didn't practice. So, I mean, they still have tomorrow, but short week. I don't know if I would rely on Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's going to be a very short week. He had a ankle injury that put him out early in the game. So that there in itself kind of worries me. Their center is questionable. Let's see, listed as limited participant. Offensive tackle Taylor Decker was limited participant at practice. And this is all coming off of a short week as well. You still have Laporta on IR. I mean, this game worries me. It's a very easy game for Jameson Williams to go off and get some points, and obviously Jahmyr Gibbs in the running game. But it just worries me with the injuries that they have on the offense this time. Like last year it was defensive injuries, and now this year it's offensive injuries. Let's see how they can handle it. I honestly believe that the Dallas Cowboys pull away a win here. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think the Dallas Cowboys will pull away a win here just based on the simple fact of the lack of offense that Detroit is going to have on this Thursday night game. I would not count on Amon-Ra St. Brown. He might put up he might put up a pretty small game this week, considering he is dealing with the ankle injury, short week. So, well, technically it's not a short week, right? Because they played on Thursday, and they played the 1 o'clock game on Thursday. So it's technically a full week. So with that being said, won't practice Tuesday, could still be available. So he's had a whole week to practice. I don't know. We're going to have to keep an eye on him tomorrow. I'll put a short out. I'll keep an eye on his situation tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know. Because that's very important, right? Obviously, that's very important whether they're going to win, whether they're going to lose. Because with the duo of CeeDee Lamb and DK Metcalf, like, Dallas Cowboys are secretly a very dangerous weapon. But then again, it's also the Dallas Cowboys, right? They mess up all the time. They mess up all the time. But it seems like this year the Dallas Cowboys are winning the games they should lose and losing the games that they should win. So there you have it. Obviously, on the Dallas Cowboys side of the ball, you're going to be playing Pickens. You're going to be playing CeeDee Lamb, Dak Prescott, Javonte Williams. Could we play... It's not going to show me what I want. I'm trying to think of a sleeper lion that we could possibly fill in. Go ahead if you have any questions about your fantasy lineup. I know we got playoffs right around the corner. I don't know how you're looking right now. You might have some really important pieces on bye this week, like my opponent does right now. My opponent, top of the league, fighting for that number 1 seed, and he's facing me. Yes, I'm already eliminated. I had a bad stretch in the very beginning. Accidentally drafted AJ Brown because we were live streaming. I can't believe I drafted AJ Brown. It was an auto draft. We were live streaming the draft, and I tried to switch away from having my screen on the screen. Like, I tried to do it on my phone, and when I did that, it logged me out on the computer, and when I logged back in, it put me on auto draft, and I did not notice. So yeah, AJ Brown went on my team, and I was losing every week because of him. As soon as I got rid of him, I started winning, but it was too late. Too little, too late. He cursed me this year. Doggummit. But anyways, I'm still playing and I'm still hardcore with it, so I like to throw a wrench in it. So this week I have one of the champions of our league, 10-3. 10-3. And the other guys, there's another guy 10-3 as well. So if he loses this week, he loses that top spot. But yes, he's got two crucial pieces on bye this week. He's got Drake May and Christian McCaffrey. Now, granted, he does have Bo Nix he could throw in there, playing the Raiders this week. That's a pretty good matchup for him, so he's not really hurting there. That's an easy switch. Like, don't even really got to check the waiver wire. Just kind of roll with it. But he doesn't really have a viable option at running back here. You can see here he's got Justice Hill. He's on IR. Should have already got rid of this guy. But the other guy he has is Tank Bigsby, Philadelphia. Not a whole lot of upside there. So he's really hurting. He's probably going to be wanting to look at the waiver wire for a running back if he wants to keep his top spot. Because my team's been going off. Daniel Jones, Jahmyr Gibbs, I expect him to have a pretty decent game. Kenneth Walker against Atlanta. RJ Harvey, I'm probably going to bench him for Jameson Williams because of the Amon-Ra situation. AJ Barner in place of Mark Andrews here. You got Devontae Adams, Rashee Rice, and if I wanted to get frisky, I could replace either one of these, probably Rashee Rice this week, with Keenan Allen. Like, I have the options. I can play around with it. So, he's definitely fighting an uphill battle right now, for sure. Let's look at some players that might be on your waiver wires available at quarterback, at running back. So, let's check out our quarterbacks. Why don't we? These might be on your waiver wire. These might not be on your waiver wire. CJ Stroud, stay away from. Trevor Lawrence this week against Indianapolis, I would stay away from that as well. Same with Justin Fields. Aaron Rodgers against Baltimore, though. This could be a sexy play. Could be a good play here. You can see the last 3 games were not very good from Aaron Rodgers, though. 16 for 31, and that's what kills Aaron Rodgers, is they didn't go get him a good wide receiver. In fact, they got rid of one of the best wide receivers in the league right now. They had him for Aaron Rodgers to use, but they went and got rid of him. What idiots. What idiots. What idiots. So you can see the last 3 matches he has not done well. Baltimore's defense has gotten better since it was earlier in the season. So let's see if we can find somebody better than Aaron Rodgers. But so far, as we work our way down, if I had to choose one, I'd be Aaron Rodgers. Bryce Young's on a bye week. You got Marcus Mariota playing Minnesota. This could be a good play as well. Just for a 1-week play. Because he has running upside. They do run the quarterback. You can see here he scored 23 points against Denver, which is a really tough defense. That was a really well played match. I feel like Marcus Mariota definitely did a good job. You can see he slung the ball 50 times, completed more than 50% of his targets. I mean, not a whole lot more, but 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did do an interception, but like I said, he has upside because he does run the ball as well. So, therefore, he got you 23 points. And playing Minnesota, which is a slightly not as tough defense as the Denver Broncos. Yes, they're not pushovers, but they're not the Denver Broncos. I can expect a similar performance coming out of Marcus Mariota. Probably in the 20-point range is your ceiling for this week against Minnesota. Just because he did take a little bit of a beating in that Denver game, so take that into consideration. But so far right now, all right. So Marcus Mariota takes the top spot for me at the moment. Cam Ward in Cleveland, we're gonna stay away from that. Shedeur Sanders in Cleveland could be a good play. He hasn't had a great start, but he's had a decent start. Looked kind of promising, as you can see here. He's put up 10 points in each of his first 2 starts. The first game going 11 for 20 and then 16 for 25. 149 yards, a touchdown. He also had a carry for 6 yards. So, and they're playing Tennessee, and Tennessee's not great. But you also have 2 teams fighting for the bottom. So, this could be bad on both sides. I'm still going to stick with Marcus Mariota in this one. Tyler Shock. And Marcus Mariota is on... He's on most waiver wires. 90% of waiver wires. So you should be able to get him no problem. If you need a replacement for Drake May or someone else that might be on bye this week. Tyler Shock. They're playing... Who are they playing? They're going to be playing Tampa Bay. I would just stay away. From that. Kirk Cousins playing Seattle. I would stay away from that. The Giants. That's the other one on bye. The Giants. The Giants. All right, and that's about it for your quarterbacks. All right. If these are on waiver wire. All right, so we got McCroskey Merritt. Bill, their running game hasn't proven to be very great. They started off kind of good, but then they fizzled out very quickly. Playing Minnesota. Minnesota hasn't been great on offense. So I don't imagine that it's going to resort to a game where the Washington Commanders are in a situation where they have to abandon the run. But he still splits the backfield, and they're not great, but he has big play potential. I'm gonna rate his ceiling at 12 points. But he could get you as low as 5. So that's a pretty big gap right there, especially in playoff. When you're in playoff mode. Tajee Spears here, stay away. Bashul Tutin could... See, Chris Rodriguez would be the better choice of him and Bill. If he's available, which he is available on majority of waivers around ESPN. This would be the better option. They do like using him a little bit more. I think his ceiling would be a little bit higher, like 15 points. But floor would probably still be pretty low, like 7, 8 points. So keep that in mind. Michael Carter at the Rams. I don't like it. Ollie Gordon at the Jets. This could be a sneaky good play right here. And so could Ray Davis. So Ollie Gordon here at the Jets could be a sneaky good play. Oh, excuse me. As you can see here, the last Jets game was one of the games where he had more carries. Didn't produce a whole lot with it, but this is also a different defense than it was. I mean, but you're still hoping for a touchdown potential. I'm thinking like his ceiling here is 10 points. Floor is probably 4. So that's a pretty big gap too. And not very high potential. Because you got Devon A-Chain over there who's getting all of the food. He eats everything. You're hoping that the Dolphins get into like first and goal, and they're sitting at like the 3-yard line. That's where Ollie Gordon's going to benefit because he's going to get that run on the 3-yard line, get the touchdown. But then he might get sprinkled in like 6 runs max throughout the game, and whether he's able to break 1 yard or 10 yards per carry, that's going to be in question. So you're really pushing for touchdown with him. Ray Davis in Cincinnati. Cincinnati's defense is very vulnerable against the run and against the pass. They do like to use him in goal line situations as well. Here's another one. It's probably 10 and 5 for your ceiling and floor on this guy. You're really hoping for touchdown potential. So really, if you need a running back, you're probably screwed. Because there's not a whole lot. I'm looking through here. There's not a whole lot. Hold on. I'll be right back. Alrighty. So where were we at? Isaiah Davis. I don't like this. Not against the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins have been playing well against the run. You can see here they're not really sprinkling him in a whole lot. To me, it looks like they're really trying to use Breece Hall, and Breece Hall might be a casualty in the offseason. Jalen Wright's not getting enough usage. Keaton Mitchell has been getting an uptick in usage the last couple weeks. You can see here, like, he has been getting quite, like, you see 4 carries in each of these 3 weeks, and then 6 carries 2 receptions. And then this one he got a touchdown, 2 carries, 19. He's had the most upside so far. Sneaky good play. Baltimore is playing the Steelers. This really is a sneaky good play, especially since Derrick Henry has been kind of fumble happy this year. Jaleel McLaughlin, like, not enough. RJ Harvey's the guy over there until J.K. Dobbins comes back. Ty Johnson, his upside is touchdown or bust. Touchdown or bust. Yeah, so, I mean, there's not a whole lot available running back wise on the waiver wire, so hopefully you got your guy. Hopefully you got your backup already. Out of all of those that I went through, I think the number one choice for me would probably be Keaton Mitchell, or I could be a homer and go Ollie Gordon, because you can't really go wrong with any of them. I feel like all of them have the same upside and the same ceiling and the same floor, so it's kind of just like pick your poison. If you need one, pick your poison and just roll with it, and just forget about it until the game's over. Don't shoot yourself in the foot over it, because it's not a whole lot of picking as far as running back goes in the waiver wire. Now, your waiver wire might be slightly different than mine. You might have a couple other players on your waiver wire, so go ahead and check it out. And if you have somebody different, let me know. I'll give my opinion on it. Try and break it down. I can search their name up here, and we can break it down. I can do it just like I'm doing with these ones. Alright, so wide receivers. Wide receivers. Cooper Kupp on the waiver wire. Rightfully so. He left the Rams and is not getting the same attention he was getting. As you can see here, very, very sporadic with when he gets a touchdown or not, or when he gets excessive usage. Most of the time, you can see here, he's only getting targeted 4 times on average. Say 5. I would say 4 times on average if you count all of the games. Because you have a 1 here, you have a 2 here, you have quite a few 3s, 2 9s, a 7, a couple 4s. So, very situational. I would just slide right on by. Slide right on by. Jaden Higgins at Kansas City. See, now all of these Houston Texan wide receivers, they kind of worry me right now, right? They kind of worry me right now because if you have C.J. Stroud going to be rolling back out there after Davis Mills has already came in here and shown that he the business, shown that he's the business, why are we going to go back to C.J. Stroud and throw your hopes away? Like, you're in the playoff hunt because Davis Mills put you in the playoff hunt. Don't go back to C.J. Stroud. Not right now. I get it. He's your number one. You're going to do it. And he's going to lose this game for you this week.
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Like and subscribe anyways.
I'm supposed to be under that. Oops. They're supposed to be under that. Let's try it again.
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Like and subscribe anyways.
That's a little bit better. So yeah, if they're going to be rolling CJ Stroud out there at quarterback, I don't know if I'm going to trust Nico Collins and Jaden Higgins the same way, especially playing this Kansas City Chiefs right now. There's so many question marks. Like, at what point are they going to turn it on? And then when they turn it on, it's not just going to be offensively. It's going to be defensively, too. That means they're going to be like, they're going to start shutting motherfuckers down. And they have to start now. They have to start this week with Houston. Like, they can't wait till next week. And they got to do it on a Sunday night. Why not do it on a Sunday night, right? While everybody's watching. So if you're looking for a wide receiver and you see Jaden Higgins sitting there, I probably would keep scrolling. Let's keep going. How about that? Keyshawn Butte. He's on bye week this week, so you got to keep scrolling. Parker Washington playing Indiana. I don't like this matchup, Jacksonville and Indianapolis. I don't like it. I'm going to keep scrolling. Tez Johnson at the Saints. Now, this one could be a good one. If you need a wide receiver, this one could be a good sleeper. He's on 75% of waiver wires around ESPN right now. And he does get big plays. He's got big play potential. Now, like, if he doesn't get the big play, then you could see here it is likely that he could have a very low floor or just a very moderate game, meaning 10 points. But if he gets that big play playing New Orleans, which is very likely for him to get a big play, he's able to put up upwards of 20 points, 15. I would say a closer, safer ceiling for him is probably 15 points. They have him here projected at 6. That's very low. I feel like that's probably his floor this week playing against the Saints. If you have any questions about your fantasy league, go ahead and drop them in the chat. Or you can hit that link pinned at the top. You can hit that link pinned at the top and you can join in on the conversation. We can talk through it. We could talk through it. Get joined in in the Discord. You want to be joined in on the Discord anyways, especially if you're subscribed, because that's the best way to stay in contact with the AFC Eastie boys. It's free, totally free, and it gives you 24/7 access to a football community. We're trying to build a community full of football fam. That's right. So join on up. We do a lot of giveaways, so you're going to need to be locked in there if you want to be able to win. If you're a winner, be able to get your prize. Oh damn, I don't have any of my overlays. I don't have any of my overlays set up on here. Oh well. I'll have to get that worked out. Also too, don't forget, vote in the poll we got going on. Which one do you think is the game of the week? What's going to be the game of the week for this week? Is it going to be the Cowboys and the Lions on Thursday night? Is it going to be an early game of the week? That game holds a lot of weight. What about the Colts and the Jaguars? What if the Cowboys beat the Lions? Man, not only will the AFC be upside down, we might see the NFC get turned upside down this week. What about the Colts and the Jaguars? I feel like that game holds some weight as well. And then, of course, the Steelers and the Ravens. Man, that's a battle for the ages right there. And then we got the Bears and the Packers. I'm telling you, man. NFL on both sides of the conferences. It's upside down. And it can get even more shaken up this week. It could get even more shaken up this week. All right, let's keep moving on. Calvin Austin. I do believe that if the Steelers want to win this game, they're going to need to use this guy. They're going to need to use this guy. It's not a can we, it's a you must use this guy. Because DK Metcalf is not enough. Not enough. I do think that he's going to get a script, and he's probably my favorite wide receiver on this waiver wire so far. I'm guessing his floor is going to be around 10 points, and his ceiling will be upwards of 19 to 23. They have him projected at 6.6. But look, he's got a more favorable option for a boom, which they're projecting at 18 points. So their floor was a little bit lower, but my ceiling is a little bit higher. They're saying anywhere in between that. I'm saying the floor starts a little bit higher. I can't move the bar. They should let me move the bar. And we keep moving down the list. You have Cedric Tillman, who seems like, okay, you know, Shedeur Sanders has been practicing with this guy. He probably should throw to this guy, especially since he's been injured and been out for 5 weeks. So, but that's not the case. Stay away. John Mechie with the Jets. Now this is a Jets-Dolphins game. I hate to admit this, but I really believe that the Jets win this game. And you can see here, out of the last 4 weeks since he's been acquired by the Jets, 2 out of the 4 weeks, he's put up pretty moderate games. He had a problem this past game against Atlanta. He could not reel in his targets. He got 8 targets, but only reeled in 4 of them. So his numbers could have been slightly better. He did get a touchdown in each of the games before that. So I'm going to say against Miami this week, I would say his floor is probably 12, but his ceiling is probably 22. Because I think he has better hands than their other receiver that they got. Luther Burden had a pretty good week last week, but they don't do that all the time. Yeah, and it wasn't even good. He just got targeted. He got targeted 6 times. That's what I feel like he did good. Oh, I also forgot that I stopped watching after the 3rd quarter because I started making a video and I was donating plasma, so I was busy. Because I remember he was getting targeted a lot in the first half, so they must have stopped targeting him. Adam Thielen does go to Pittsburgh. Now this is interesting, right? Adam Thielen going to Pittsburgh. Because they haven't had wide receivers. They've definitely needed wide receivers. And this is going to be the first week. Could Adam Thielen be a sneaky good play this week? Coming in out of nowhere on a team that really needs a receiver. Even though he's not a great receiver, he's pretty reliable. And especially for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, I feel like they would click really well, right? They're both old guys. Been in the league a very long time. I don't feel like they would need a whole lot of like oh, we need a week of working out together before we actually can like get on the same page. I feel like the fact that both of these guys are solid veterans and they've been in the league for a while, I feel like they would click pretty well. This actually is my favorite right now, Adam Thielen. I know it sounds crazy, but for some reason, watch. Guarantee you, he gets a touchdown. At least a touchdown. So I'm going to say his floor is probably 12 points. Ceiling, probably 24. What are they giving him? They're not giving him nothing for this week. Let's see. Steelers claim Thielen off waivers. Oldest active receiver in the NFL at 35. Thielen didn't appear to have much juice left during second stint in Minnesota. That's because their quarterback sucked. Let's be honest. It wasn't Thielen's fault. Like, J.J. McCarthy, we might need to understand that J.J. McCarthy might not be the guy, ladies and gentlemen. He managed just 8 receptions for 69 yards, 18 targets, 11 appearances before the Vikings made him a healthy inactive. For this past Sunday's loss to Seattle, after requesting and being granted his release, Thielen has caught on with Steelers' team lacking in quality receiver beyond depth number 1, DK Metcalf, so he could have immediate opportunity to push the likes of Calvin Austin, who hasn't been great, Roman Wilson, don't even know who that is, Ben Skowronek, cool name, not enough, though he'll benefit from an upgrade in quarterback play, definitely will, in Pittsburgh with Aaron Rodgers under center. Thielen is still unlikely to see enough of a jump in his production in his new locale to warrant much fantasy interest. Well, I'm telling you, this game against Baltimore probably is a different story. If he plays. I don't know if he's playing or not. Like, they literally just picked him up, so he may not play. Tomlin may make him wait a week, bring him out against Miami, and then we'll address it there. If Thielen plays, so now we were sitting at Calvin Austin, right? He was my previous. If Thielen plays, I would go Thielen over Calvin Austin. For sure. Greg Dortch in Arizona playing the Rams. Not a bad option. But he's not going to give you a whole lot of upside. He did have 2 decent games where he found the end zone, but it's very far and in between when he finds the end zone. So I would just stay away from that. Isaiah Hodgins on bye. Mac Hollins on bye. Sterling Shepard in New Orleans. This could be an okay play. Not going to get you a lot of points. You're really hoping that he gets a bunch of targets and catches them, and you're relying on receptions, and maybe he gets some decent yardage out of it, but you're really relying on the receptions, right? Because he does get targeted a decent amount. Now, whether he catches all of them, now that's a different story. But you can see here, 6, 4, 5, 4, 5, 3, 7, 2, 4, 5, 5, 2. So you would figure he's getting targeted 4 times a game. So he should catch 4 receptions a game, which would get you 4 points plus yardage. Now, hoping he gets 10 points, so that's 8. So you figure your floor is 6 for this guy. Now your ceiling, get a touchdown, hoping he gets a touchdown. He's only gotten 1 touchdown so far this season, so that's probably not likely. I'm teaching you how to break it down here. I don't know if you're catching on or not. So it's probably not likely for him to get a touchdown. We can't count on that, right? He has gotten a few carries. All right, we'll take that into consideration. He's gotten 4 carries. Hasn't produced a whole lot, so now we'll just scratch it out. So now we're just basically sitting at the, hopefully he gets 4 receptions for 40 yards, giving you 6 for your floor, and 10 for your ceiling. Not a whole lot. Stay away. Sorry, bud. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how you do it. It's kind of how you do it. You just break down the numbers. Like, all right, you try and figure out. This was the other one I was looking at. Adonai Mitchell. He has a problem catching the ball. He has a problem catching the ball. You can see it. He had the same problem in Indianapolis. He was having the problem. I went back through his last 2 years as well. Same problem. Like, he has a problem catching the ball. And you can see here, 6 for 1, 7 for 2. He did get a little better here. He got targeted 12 times, though, and caught 8 of them. Had 102 yards, a touchdown. So he did put up a good stat line last week. But since he put up such a good stat line, Miami's going to put their guys on him. So that's why I say go with John Mechie first over Adonai Mitchell here. Jalen Cocker, Tyler Lockett, they're both on. Or Jalen Cocker's on by Tyler Lockett, stay away from. And I would say that's it on the wide receivers, ladies and gentlemen. As I continue to go down, Isaac Tesla could be a sleepy play because Amon-Ra might be out again. You could see since he was out last week, he did get an uptick in usage. Not really, just got a touchdown out of it. So that would have been an Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown. So there you go. So you're looking, floor is 0. Your ceiling is 10. That's what I'm going to go with for Tesla. It's definitely a flip of the coin for average output. None of these guys are going to win you your playoff game. I hope you're not relying on any of these guys to win a playoff game. Maybe get you through on your bye week. That's all these guys are going to do. They're going to get you through on your bye week. Because like I said, I haven't seen one person yet that I can put their ceiling above 20 points. And that's what you need to win your championship. You need 20 points minimum from your players. $20 points minimum. Evan Ingram. I think Evan Ingram's a safe play. And at the Raiders. Cade Iden here's a safe play. Fuck Mason Taylor. I mean, you're wide open with tight ends, really. I don't know how many of these are going to be on your waiver wire. 44% of waiver wires for Njoku. Probably wouldn't go with Njoku, though. Evan Ingram, he's on over 50% of waiver wires. I do like his chances this week. I feel like he could put the same production up that he did against Washington, except this time I feel like he can find an end zone, so add a couple more points to that. I say your floor for Ingram is probably 10 points, but your ceiling is probably somewhere upwards of like 18 or 19. Cade Otton, same thing, and New Orleans. It's just a really prime matchup, especially for tight ends. He doesn't get a whole lot of usage, but you can see when he is used, he does produce. And I think this is one of those weeks where he will produce. So you're probably looking somewhere in this range, maybe even this range if he finds the end zone. Because you can see he does get targeted. He does get targeted. On this one, he got 12 targets, 9 receptions, 5. He only caught 2 of them. 7 and 4, 9, 7, 6 and 5, 5 and 4. Jonnu Smith with the addition of Adam Thielen, I don't like his chances. He hasn't done a whole lot with what Aaron Rodgers has given him. Mason Taylor let me down this weekend, so I really hate him. He let me down on my touchdown parlay. Asshole. The only leg I missed. I would have won $100 off $1, bro. If you had just got into the end zone. He's only done it once this year, but he's a rookie. And you can see his target share had went up. It was going up, and it was trending in a very good direction. And this is where I bought in, right? When it started trending, this is where I bought in. I used him here. I actually used him. But then I didn't use him here. Obviously, playing Denver, you're not going to use him. But I did use him here, and he busted. So here, I think I used Mark Andrews in place, and I ended up kicking myself in the butt. right here because I didn't use him, and I used Mark Andrews, and he only put up 9 points. But then since the bye week, he's just dropped off. It's not been very good production. Like, they're not necessarily targeting him as much. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that they're trying to sell Breece Hall. I'm pretty sure they're trying to sell Breece Hall. In the offseason, Breece Hall just might become a casualty. So I'm off Mason Taylor for the rest of the year. Isaiah Likely definitely has upside for sure. You can see here they have his window at 1.5 points to 10 points. That I would probably be similar to that, very similar, because you're hoping he finds the end zone. You can see here, last week against Cincinnati was his most targeted game with 6 targets and 5 receptions. So most time he's been targeted all season. And you would expect that because they were playing Cincinnati. It's a prime matchup for that. Cincinnati's defense is very vulnerable and it's very pass heavy. It's not a game that you run a lot on. So, given the facts of the other stats, so we're gonna cut this in half. We're not gonna just completely ignore it in the stats. No, we just cut it in half because it's gimme stats, if that makes any sense. So now you're looking at these points, and his highest point average would be 9 against the Miami Dolphins, which, again, Miami Dolphins are weak against the tight end position. So he only got that because we tend to leave tight ends open over the middle. So I wouldn't rely on Isaiah Likely if you need a tight end this week. Move pass. Like I said, so far we're at Evan Ingram and Cade Otton as safe plays. Both of them are on about 50% of waiver wires around ESPN leagues. So they may not be on your waiver wire. That's why I'm going to give you a couple tight ends, because I have a list here of a bunch of decent ones, but they might not be on your waiver wire. Even though they're on mine, they might not be on yours. Chig Okonkwo at Cleveland. We're not going to trust it at Cleveland. Sorry. I just feel like that defense is going to really shut the Tennessee Titans down this week. There's not going to be a whole lot of production coming out of there. I would not trust it. Luke Musgrave, on the other hand, playing Chicago. This game has the potential to go upwards of 60 points. And you know, with Tucker Kraft being out, Luke Musgrave he has to be that guy. He has to be that guy in place of Tucker Kraft. He hasn't done it in the last 3 games, I think it is, right? That since Tucker Kraft has been out, he hasn't shown that he's been that guy. Can he do it this week against Chicago? He's going to have to be. If they want to win, he's going to have to be that guy. But I mean, the Green Bay Packers do have other options, so they don't necessarily. I guess they don't necessarily need him to be that guy. They just need him to block. So I would say stay away from Luke Musgrave. Brock Wright, Michael Mayer, stay away from both of them. Taysom Hill playing Tampa Bay. Now, he didn't do a whole lot against Miami. Had a carry, had a reception. He hasn't done a whole lot this year at all. And there was one point where he was pretty much their whole offense. Noah Fant, stay away. Colby Parkinson. I don't know about Colby Parkinson. I don't know about Colby Parkinson. Oh, I know what that was. I know what that was. So, since the bye week, they've had 5 games. 3 out of those 5 games, he did get into the end zone, being against San Francisco, Seattle, and Tampa Bay. He's gotten, since the bye week, he's gotten 10, say on average, 3 targets per game. And he's averaging about 10 yards per target. So this guy actually has some pretty good upside. I like this play here, Colby Parkinson, especially against Arizona, because this one too has a potential to be a pretty high scoring game. Arizona's been lighting it up since Jacoby Brissett stepped on the scene. They've actually been performing and doing it pretty well. So I like the potential here. I like the potential here, especially with Sam Darnold going. Sam Darnold's going to have to answer back, right? Monday night. Drake May went out there, and I got to give him his flowers. I said this Monday morning. I wanted to see a New England win where Drake May wins the game and goes out there and throws for like 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, runs for some first downs, commands the offense, doesn't have any turnovers, and he did exactly what I told him to do. And they won in dominating fashion against the New York Giants last night, and I got to give him his props, and I got to get off his back. So, Matthew Stafford, you're that guy. You got to win the MVP, and it ain't no lie. So, I do like Cody Parkinson here. He's my favorite so far. I say that his floor is probably 10 points and his ceiling is probably 16 points. So you're looking 10 to 16 points from your tight end position, which is pretty good. Dawson Knox. He's not Dalton Kincaid. He doesn't give you Dalton Kincaid numbers. He's kind of like a Dollar Tree version of Dalton Kincaid. These numbers that you're seeing here at the right are probably what he's going to get in Cincinnati. I would say his ceiling is probably closer to 10 or 11 because he might find the end zone against Cincinnati. Cincinnati is a pretty vulnerable defense. This could be another game that goes up into the 30s. And if that's the case, Dawson Knox will get a touchdown at some point. Oh, let's go back up and look at Colby Parkinson is in most waivers. He's in 98% of waivers, so you're most likely going to be able to find him. Same with Dawson Knox. Not going to have a problem being able to get these guys. Mike Gesicki. They don't use him enough. Same with the Dolphins. We didn't use him enough either. Very underrated guy. But unfortunately, in the fantasy world, I can't favor you. But, you know what I can do? I can push our giveaway, right? Yes, that's right. When we reach 500 subscribers, that's right. When we reach 500 subscribers, I have a 9x16 photo of this guy. Autographed. From his rookie year, wearing the number 86, he was hurdling over a guy. Yeah, that's right. I said 86. But he wears the number 88. I know, but the number 88 was taken when we drafted him. So he had the number 86 on. So, very easy to win that. I mean, first of all you gotta do is be subscribed. But then, like, share, comment, all the above. And we're paying attention. Person who shows this channel the most love, we're gonna send it right out to you. Could be any one of yous. Any one of yous. Darnell Washington does have some upside if he catches the ball and gets to run with it, because this dude is such a truck. He's literally a truck on the football field. This dude is, I wonder if it has his height and his weight here. He's well over 6 foot, plus 300 pounds. Like, this dude is a massive human being on that football field. So if he could just get the ball in his hands and get some movement, he could have some upside. But unfortunately, he's still a rookie, so we got to give him some time. Maybe next year he'll be a little bit more reliable and probably a sleeper pick for your tight end position in the late rounds. But don't worry, we'll get into all of that throughout the offseason. It's way too early to talk about next year, right? And that's about it for your tight ends. If you're digging this far deep, if you're digging this far down, you're screwed. You're fucked. Just turn it off. If you're digging this far down for your tight end, you are screwed. Defenses this week. What would be some good defenses? Man, if you play week to week on your defense like I do, let's check out who would be the best ones. Arizona, we already talked about. I could see that game being a very high-scoring game. Both teams are doing pretty well as far as putting points on the board goes. So we're going to scratch that out. Seattle, JSN going to light it up for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. We're going to scratch out the Falcons. The Buccaneers, though, over the New Orleans Saints, oh, we definitely can see a defensive touchdown on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers side of the ball with a very low-scoring game from the New Orleans Saints. So we're going to call this a lock for sure. And they are on 75% of waiver wires around ESPN, so you should definitely be able to pick them up. Or the Chiefs against Houston Texans right here. Now this one's interesting because I feel like it's very important on who starts at quarterback, on whether you should play the Chiefs defense or not. If Davis Mills starts at quarterback on Sunday night, you should not play the Chiefs defense. But if it is CJ Stroud, go ahead and lock in the Chiefs defense. But since this game is Sunday night and you would have to wait, I say skip them. I do like them this week if it's CJ Stroud, but it's too risky to wait all day for it to be a bad play. So I would say skip the Chiefs for this week, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't agree with it? That's too bad.
Like and subscribe anyways.
Like and subscribe anyways.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, vote on the game of the week. What is the game of the week this week? Vote on the game of the week so we can vote on who's going to win the game of the week. Raiders against Denver. I'm just going to stay away from that one. Cowboys at Detroit. I'm going to stay away. Cardinals. We're going to stay away. Jets at Miami. This one is intriguing. I'll get back to this. Saints at Tampa. Stay away. Commanders at Minnesota. This could be a sneaky one. You're going to stay away from Tennessee and Bengals as well. This one could be a sneaky one because Minnesota Vikings have not been doing well at all. I mean, they put up a dud last week, right? And we saw the Commanders do pretty decent against Denver this past week. But if you look through, they can consistently put up negative points. And I'd rather go with no defense than negative points on defense. So we're just going to stay away from that. So your safest play on my board right now would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They would be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, you may have some other options. Let me look through the Week 14 schedule real quick. You may have some other options. Let me see. Seahawks defense, obviously, over the Falcons. That's a really good play. The Browns over the Titans, but I doubt either one of those are available. I like the Steelers at the Ravens here. I do like the Steelers over the Ravens, even though the Ravens could put up 21, 24 points. I do think the Steelers could come away with a lot of turnovers and even possibly a touchdown from special teams or from defense. So I do like that. Broncos at the Raiders, obviously we love that. I'm gonna dig the Dolphins at the Jets. I don't know if we should trust the Jets defense against the Dolphins here. But the Dolphins against the Jets defense, that's a good play. The defense has been doing a lot better. I wouldn't do the Rams or Cardinals, Bears or Packers in this situation. Yeah, that's about it, ladies and gentlemen. That's about it for your defense. And then obviously, last but not least, Jake Elliott, Kyrie Santos, both good plays. Keami Fairbairn here. I think if Houston is going to be putting points on the board, there will be a couple field goals. Like, I need a kicker, so I'm going to be picking up somebody. Because I got Bor Eagles, and he's on a bye week. Evan McPherson at Buffalo, that's a good one. Brandon McManus. Nick Folk. All those are good plays. All of those are good plays. That's right. Oh, looks like we got a tie. What's the tie? I'm going to have to go back and look at it. We got one vote for the Steelers and Ravens and one for the Cowboys and Lions. I think they both can be games of the week, in my opinion. Because they're both different sides of the conference, right? One's AFC, one's NFC. Both of them hold a lot of weight. But it's been a fun fantasy tune-up weekly. If you're just getting here, don't forget, hit that like, hit that subscribe on the way out, and then come back and check it out. Dropped a lot of info for you. You're not going to want to miss it. We got that QR code down there, DCC Dolphins Cancer Challenge. Make sure you go If you can, go make a donation. Help cancer research. For every $500 AFC Eastie boys can raise, be running a mile per 500 every day, all the way up until the 5K. So go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, make me sweat. I need to be sweating hard every day. But it's late. Long day, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully I gave you all the information you needed. Hopefully you win your fantasy leagues this week and you head into playoffs, and we could start prepping you for your playoff games, and you can win yourself a trophy. I don't know if you guys are doing a trophy in your league or not. Hopefully you are. We just got our first trophy for our league. We've been doing it for a while. It's been way too long. And I'm not even going to get to hold it for the first time. Bummer. Bummer. But I had fun along the way. I always do. I've won plenty. I won plenty. So let some other guys have some fun. But until next time, this has been your boy Cat in a Hat, back in the Christmas hat, breaking down all the fantasy stats just for you so you can win your league. So let's go. Fins up for life. Catch you next time.